finally, we have a presentation this evening about our planning on the riverfront. So we have all heard about potential buildings for the downtown development, but we do need to talk about public spaces that are being created as part of the project. The city was allocated federal, state, and local funds totaling nearly $34 million for riverfront park and infrastructure improvements to prepare the site for future development projects. The state and federal funding was specifically dedicated to downtown redevelopment, as the state's focused on urban core communities and redevelopment of downtowns for several years, but this was the first real allocation of funding that we've received. The project will include upgrades to roadways, utilities, river stabilization, and a new public park. Initially, the city engaged the firms of Studio Gang and SCAPE to work with us and stakeholders to develop a master plan for the site. And then the city engaged SCAPE to further develop the vision for the site and put together plans to bring that vision to reality. And today we have Brad Howe with us from SCAPE, and he's going to provide an overview of the project and some of the next steps. Brad is a principal at SCAPE. He leads design teams for a number of large-scale waterfront and resilience planning projects. His work focuses on creating ecologically vibrant waterfronts and public spaces, from complex, large-scale planning projects with extensive engagement to detailed site plan design. So, Brad.
All right, thank you. And thanks for having me here tonight. As the city manager said, I'm here to provide an update on where we ended with the master planning process and where we're starting with the design of the waterfront park, or the riverfront park. And so many of you know where the site is within the Medical Diamond District Plan. It's the dark red labeled there as anchor site. This is a 5.5 acre riverfront park. Throughout the course of the master planning process, it was a stakeholder-led design process, and representatives from all of the organizations you see up on the screen were present in some shape or form to provide input and guide the master plan. So just to where we're at in the schedule, it was a 4-month collaborative process, including 4 stakeholder group meetings, 3 focus group meetings, 3 site visits with city officials, and we traveled to Saginaw High to do 1 high school design charrette as well. And so just throughout the process, I just wanted to share some of the things we learned and discussed as a group. First of all, contextualizing this place on the riverfront within its larger ecological system. And kind of through conversations, here's some of the conversations that were had at the table. Schools should be able to take field trips here to show firsthand what opportunities are available in the city. The project could bring education of our community and take advantage of the Be Well initiative. The Saginaw Bay watershed is one of Michigan's most diverse areas, and it supports a vast variety of wildlife, and river stabilization here could improve the health of the river. So there was a lot of takeaways along ecological vibrancy and bringing people to the riverfront. And then we also started mapping and drawing out all of the regional trails in the area, and most notably noting the Iron Bell Trail, which runs right along the site and actually has the opportunity to connect the city with a lot of regional trails as well. And so this really sparked a conversation about activity and movement. So some of the feedback and comments we heard was many community organizations are looking for space to hold health fairs, awareness events, physical activity opportunities need to be created in this space. The incorporation of a fitness trail could help improve the rates of obesity and chronic disease, and focus on partnerships with the farmers market and the possibility of having a community garden at the riverfront. And then finally, we started looking at what are other places and other parks along the Saginaw riverfront, and what can you do there? And you'll see in this map, the site is located towards the north, which is the top of the map. And then you can see kind of where we're at, Ojibwe Island and Celebration Park, and you can see a lot of icons there. And so those icons represent activities. And most notably, towards the north, there's much less icons. And so the conversation was, how do we bring activity to the riverfront in this area? How could this project create a walkable development that takes advantage of its riverfront location? How could it have a positive impact on the downtown area? How could we create fishing and recreational activities here? And how might this be better able to accommodate performances or activities and programming in downtown Saginaw? So a couple other things we did is we reviewed the 2002 Saginaw Parks and Recreation Master Plan, and one thing that was really interesting is that 40% of the respondents noted that riverfront and waterfront access was a priority. And then you can just see some photos from our charrette in Saginaw High where we worked with students to just ask them to design their own ideal park, and they gave us a lot of great ideas. And so out of this process, we developed 4 key priorities that we'll focus on in the design process. Human health, to create an active and restorative park. Education, create a learning landscape. I think it's pretty special too that the new high school is just across the river and a short distance away from this park. Ecological vibrancy, create a living landscape at the waterfront, and place and connection in creating a park for all. And so I'm just going to share some of the conceptual renderings that we developed. And this, I want to just note that we're in the very beginning stages of this design process. And so this is still an evolving design. But you can see the idea of adding water access, opening a lawn, creating active amenities, fitness, play, and spaces for fishing along the riverfront. And this is the site plan. And then this just kind of shows connecting the Iron Bell Trail, creating a gateway to connect the neighborhoods to their riverfront, and then also unlocking river access as well at this site. And so this is a before image. This is the site today. And then this could potentially be transformed into something much different that actually engages the riverfront and provides access. A space for performances and like local music performances or other events and programming. And then finally, active spaces and places for play at the riverfront. And so I put this schedule up here. You can see the pink arrow. It's kind of small, but this is where we're at. So we completed the master plan, and now we're starting the design of the park. And we just wanted to note this because we are going to be in Saginaw next week doing some community events, so we want to hear from the community. So we'll be table sitting at the SVRC Marketplace on Wednesday, October 23rd from 11 to 2. And then we'll be at the Trunk or Treat event in Celebration Park from 4:30 to 6:30. So we'll be here. We'll have some activities and boards for the community to provide their input. And then the QR code in the bottom corner is actually a link to a survey where folks can go online and enter their input as well. That will also be hosted on the city website for access. So, thank you.